Good morning, afternoon, and good evening, everyone. This is combo number 2, and this is our second Throwback Thursday episode. I'm Tom Flores, and once again, this is
Brittany.
And we today will be going back into the Old West, and we'll be talking about Tombstone. It's a great movie. It's to me, it's already to me an instant classic. It's just awesome.
It is. It's one of the best Western movies.
I think that is the best Western. That is if you want to make a Western, that's the Western to look at.
And the cast.
Yes, the cast is great. You have Kurt Russell as Wyatt Earp. You have Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday. You have Sam Elliott as his brother, Verge, right? Virgil Earp. And then Bill Paxton plays his younger brother, Wyatt Earp's younger brother, Morgan Earp.
Yeah,
and it's just really great. It's just an amazing. And to me, what makes it why I love it even more.
It's funny too.
It's really funny, but the fact that the way it's filmed makes it feel like you're on watching a stage play. The way everyone's the choreographed movement, the way people are walking across the stage, from building to building, the fight scenes, everything. And it has this stage Shakespearean feel to it. It's on the stage and the actors are actually cheating out and moving like they're on the stage, not on set. That's why I like it.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, to me it does. That's why I really enjoy this movie. It's just an amazing piece of cinema.
See, Tom here is more of the movie, aficionado about acting and directing and what are you doing? I'm more of the everyday moviegoer that just likes movies. That doesn't, not to say I don't care about directors and...
The average Jane? Is that what you're saying?
Just let me explain. Let me explain. Not that I don't care about directors or, who made the soundtrack or whatever, but for me, movie going is that I just watch the movie.
Well, I go for that too. I just also
but when you watch it, God, sometimes it's annoying. You talk about this director did this. It's just just to watch the movie.
I did watch the movie. I've watched it 10 times, and it's a great movie. It's a Western.
Anyway,
it's the epitome of Western.
For the average moviegoer that doesn't know about all these behind the scenes, it was a stage play or whatever. I just thought it was a good movie.
Well, I'm not saying that's how they did it. That's how I saw it. That's to me how I saw it. That's what made me like it more. It had the Shakespearean stage
I know that's what I'm saying. For an average moviegoer who doesn't know these things or doesn't pick up on these things, I'm saying.
Well, what did you pick on as
would you let me finish?
I am. I'm just asking you a question.
But you're interrupting.
No.
Oh well, then let me speak.
Eating.
Let me speak right now. Don't stop. I'm sick.
Okay, go.
I'm saying, as the average moviegoer, I just really liked it because I thought the dialogue was really good.
A lot of good one-liners.
Yeah, especially from Doc Holliday. He is probably my favorite character in the whole. In the whole
Stole
movie.
The show.
Just his one-liners and just his really quick, witty, just smart-ass kind of comments. And the fact that I feel what we were talking about, he was kind of
the narrator for the movie?
Well, no. He was a good guy and a bad guy kind of.
Oh, yeah.
He kind of had his own moral compass.
No, not moral compass. He just did what he wanted. But when it came to his friends, people he cared about, he that was his moral compass. His friends, he only did what he stood by his friends. But
someone like Kurt Russell,
Wyatt
Earp, someone like Wyatt Earp. He was very, this is the book, go by the book, this is the rules, this is whatever. And then when we first see Doc Holliday, we see him gambling, which I'm pretty sure he was cheating.
I think he's just a very good gambler. I think he's really good. I think he's just really good at cards. I don't think he ever cheats.
I don't know. I don't know. Because remember when, after they win, and he tells the girl, he's like, oh, I think this town is done. Let's move on to the next one.
Oh, because he stabbed a dude.
Well, yeah, but
and he
also
creates
because
enemies
I feel like he just goes through gambling.
His girlfriend, the Doc's girlfriend's character was named Kate, right? Was it Kate? I think it was Kate.
I believe so. But either way, he's my favorite.
Yeah.
And I think him and Val Kilmer did a really good job playing Doc Holliday, and I feel like Sam Elliott did a really good job playing Virgil.
I liked his like it was like the last of the old school mentality for that time period.
Was he the older brother?
Yes.
So then Wyatt was the middle?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like Virgil did have a very kind of like old school. Because remember when they kept telling the people and like the police people, like the sheriff and whatnot,
marshal.
like, no, we don't want the job. We don't want the job. We're not going to take it. And then Virgil's the first to fall.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
I
like, I can't.
It'd be fall. I think it's just.
Well, like not first to fall, but like first to give in and be like, you know what? Yeah, like I can't just take these people's money while they're
hurting.
Yeah, and then he gives in and goes and takes like the sheriff job or deputy job or whatever. But I really like him. And we were talking about this earlier. Sam Elliott, like, he looks the same now as he did in Tombstone. And Tombstone was what?
I want to say early 90s.
Yeah, so Sam Elliott just looks like he's either aged very well.
I think he was in Roadhouse.
Or just aged not very well.
That was in the 80s. Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze. I think he was in there. And he looked the same too. And that was in the 80s. Yeah, I think at 20 he just turned 60. That's what I'm saying.
He either aged well or he didn't age well. Like he just aged very young and then just looks
either way, I think you could say he aged well because if he stayed the same since 20, that means he just...
But if he looked like this at 20, then that's not really aging well.
And he was really well liked by the ladies then. Worked good.
I still think Sam Elliott looks like a very... Mm-hmm. I mean, even now.
I think if to go like...
But even in the movie, he's portrayed as an old guy. Yeah. I would still date him.
I think, and this might be
Silver
going
Fox.
A little deeper into, maybe saying too deep into it, just now this is just picking at it, but to me, because they're brothers, Morgan, Wyatt, and Verge, I think Verge was the one that like kind of looked and acted more like their father. I mean, we don't know who their father is, but he was, I guess I'm saying he represents in that time period the last of the old generation mentality, so he's more like their dad, if anything, I feel.
More by the book?
Yeah. Yes, the older and the younger brother look more towards the middle, Wyatt, but I think he still represents the dad more of their father, I feel. While Morgan and Wyatt are more different than their dad. Verge still is the closest to his father. Their father, I think. That's that, looking into it more because I've watched it so many times. That's why I like that character Verge so much. And
because he's the oldest of the group. Yeah, we talked about this. Like he had the youngest wife.
Out of all their wives, he had the youngest one. That was kind of funny. And I feel like she was the most mature out of all of them too, because she was with an older man. Like she could keep up. Like, she matured mentally more.
I guess.
But talking about that character, his wife, his character's wife.
Yeah.
But it's very, yes, so it starts with not our main characters, but the main antagonist of the story. Mm-hmm. The cowboys, which are identified by a red sash they wear around their belt, are seen charging... Huh?
What?
Are seen charging a church.
Like the Red Wedding from Game of
Catholic
Thrones.
Church.
Like bringing it back to modern times. This is like the Red Wedding of Game of Thrones.
Because one of they besiege a church, they attack it, and they're after
during a wedding. After a wedding, actually.
Right after the ceremony.
Yeah,
they're about to go into the reception, and they want the groom because he killed a couple cowboys, two cowboys.
Yep.
So they kill the Mexican police. They kill him. They kill his wife.
And the priest.
And then they will not hit them. One guy does. We'll get into that. So they get their revenge, and then they go to sit and eat. And you see already though that these guys, yes, they're cowboys. Cowboys aren't seen as like good people,
law-abiding citizens.
But one of the cowboys themselves,
you can already tell like the killing of the woman kind of left a sour taste in his mouth.
Just the whole thing about it, yeah. And then
right after a wedding,
and then they what is interesting about it is that the priest who gave the ceremony is talking to the cowboys in Spanish and
telling about like the horse of
and
death.
What we're told he said was that beware the pale horse, because the pale horse will be carrying death. And hell will be following him, and basically death will be after them.
It was a foreshadow.
It was it was setting the stage.
Very biblical.
Yes.
I liked it.
Well, he even was saying that.
Yeah, and then
the guy who was translating for the priest was Johnny Ringo. Johnny Ringo shoots the priest in the head.
Yeah.
that shows his character is definitely the most evil. He is actually evil. He's not just bad. He's evil.
Yeah, he is just... See, this is what I mean by evil.
Johnny Ringo's evil. I wasn't arguing that.
But, like, enjoy when we talked... The throwback also. But... Or should I not?
We're still debating whether the sister from a previous movie we just watched, it just came out, Joy, if the Joy's sister is evil. She's not. Like, again, please leave in the comments. I guess leave in the comments here if she's evil or not. But back to the story.
So Johnny Ringo's definitely, like, as soon as you see him, and I told this to Tom, that, like, just, like, his look.
You said that about Curly Bill, too, the leader.
But Curly Bill looks evil.
And he has a more curlier beard.
Yeah, but both of them have evil mustaches. They're, like... dastardly villainous mustaches.
Like you see in, like...
They look like devil mustaches. If I picture the devil...
Like stereotypical
it would look like Johnny Ringo.
I feel like Johnny Ringo's not even the devil. I feel like it's like he's
He is evil.
But he's like
he
beyond...
attacked a church right after a wedding and shot a priest.
But he's like beyond
That's
evil.
bad juju.
He's beyond evil. Well, that's just like bad karma too and everything.
Exactly. So,
but
I mean, he's going to hell.
And like I said again, what was interesting is you see right there the division, the group. McMasters is the cowboy.
You can tell he doesn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to
and
leave.
so then after the massacre at the wedding, we go now back. That's where we get introduced to our main characters, Wyatt, Virgil, and Morgan, and they just get off a train to Tombstone, and that's where the mayor of that area, the state, basically,
comes up to
him and is like, "Hey, we want you," and he doesn't even look at them. He just says, "Nope, not interested," because he
don't want the job after.
This shows that he's been asked by many people so many times after retired from being a lawman, and that he's done with it. He just wants to.
See, I wish they'd kind of hit on that a little earlier, because I've seen the movie so many times, so I already know that he was a peace officer.
Mm-hmm.
But I wish in the beginning, before the mayor came up to him, asked him if he wanted the job as like a...
It showed how much he was done with that? Like, what do you mean?
I wish there had kind of been like a brief history, or just like something... Scene? Yeah, a brief scene of them being peace officers and showing that they were done with that life, instead of just you kind of putting it together.
Well, the beginning of the movie, it quickly showed that for Wyatt Earp. That was it at the beginning. The black and white pictures showing at the very, very beginning. Oh. That was it. It was a quick little boom, boom, that was it. Which was really cool because it made it look like the very old historical film. That showed.
I don't know. I guess
you just wanted more.
Yeah, more. I felt like it was just. Okay. Yeah, like you said, like more just showing that he was really done with it, like getting countless offers.
Maybe him doing the like turning it in kind of thing, turning in the bad.
Yeah.
Like okay. I do like though that at the beginning it shows the type of man Wyatt is that when someone someone's after they get out of the train, they're unloading their stuff.
Oh,
some guy's taking Wyatt's horse off the train. And the horse isn't budging, and so the guy starts hitting the horse. Wyatt grabs the whip. Not a whip.
It was
like a belt. It's like a belt.
No, it looked like a rolled up like towel.
Okay.
Like a thick towel, but I'm sure that didn't hurt as much either. But just like the fact that this guy was like beating on this horse because it wouldn't move, and then Wyatt Earp comes in and just like grabs the guy's hand to make him stop, and takes that little like rolled up towel from him, and it hits him with it, and it's like it hurts, doesn't it? I don't know why. I thought it was just so funny. Like
it is because the movie is filled more with not funny banter but funny one-liners.
Yeah, there's not a lot.
It's just a one-liner delivery.
Yeah, it's not a huge like funny scene everywhere. It's just they're sprinkled throughout.
You could say like the movie. It's not like as quotable as like Goodfellas, Animal House, Anchorman,
Mean Girls.
That too. It's more memorable the quotes because it's like. That's just awesome. That's just the way Kurt Russell delivers it, and how the writer wrote it. It's just that's awesome.
And then
hurts, don't it?
Yeah, and like we just watched it again, like before doing this, and then I just like really realized how many quotes are just so quotable from this movie. Like there's just so many little one-liners that you could just
like I said,
use.
More memorable though. I mean, like really memorable because they're that like they're more like just good, not like
Well, I mean, I didn't remember them. I had to have a refresher. So I'm saying like I just realized that they're just.
They're just good.
I mean, I'm not sure if you'd use them all the time, and some of them would be outdated. Like, well, you'd be a daisy if you did, or
y'all be a daisy if you do.
Stuff like that. Like
I'm a huckleberry.
Yeah,
I still use huckleberry right now. I use it with my coworkers a couple times.
I only use it with people who understand the reference. It's not something I would use like all the time, you know.
Like scotch, down.
Or like, you can't sit with us, you know. It's like stuff like that. Everybody knows.
Noises.
Exactly. But what I really like is the scene between. Oh crap! The scene between Doc Holliday and Johnny Ringo when they're doing the Latin. I don't know why.
Oh, in the saloon.
Yeah, when they're both, you know, spouting off at each other Latin. I think it's because...
Like, and you said it was like a pissing contest, huh?
Yeah, it was basically a pissing contest. Like, Doc, you know, he's used to being, I wouldn't say the smartest in the room.
The literate man in the group.
Well, yeah, like, literate and, like, I wouldn't say the most educated, but just, like, smart
I think
enough
the
to
more
get by on his wits,
like
too.
the literate man. He's illiterate.
But yeah, but smart enough to get by on his wits. Like, he's very quick and he can just shut you up.
Yeah.
So I think he's so used to being the only one in the room. And then here Ringo comes in, spouting more Latin off to him, you know. They just kind of have that little pissing contest. And then there's no subtitles in the movie. So I definitely recommend you looking up that whole little dialogue to see what the translation is. Because it is pretty cool. I mean,
it escalates pretty quickly too.
Yeah,
like,
you know,
they're about to, if
it's just like, you know, just both each of them telling each other to watch out. Like,
I'll be the one. That
like,
kills
I'm
you.
the smartest one.
I'll be the one that kills you. Yeah, and they're like, oh, apparently that was Latin, dear. Apparently Ringo's an educated man. Yeah. Now I really hate him.
And then the bartender, we don't want any trouble here, lads. Not in any language. Like, I thought that was cool.
And then it went to funny because at first, then Ringo pulls his gun.
Oh, yeah, he pulls his gun right on Doc.
He starts, you know, doing tricks with it and everything. And then, to be a smartass,
Doc finishes his shot. Doc finishes his shot.
And then he
does
starts
it with the little cup.
Yeah, and then it's the funny moment to show he's a smartass.
Yeah. See, like, he's used to being that type of person. Like,
in the room all the time. Because the group of people he hangs with are not dumb. They're just the average amount of knowledge. And books and art and
I would
music.
have to say Doc is my favorite character.
Because even Doc knows how to play the piano, but like classical music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's just there's more. There was a line in the movie where I think it's towards the end where he says, "My hypocrisy knows no bounds," and Doc said that, and then I believe it's Wyatt that replies back like, "You're not a hypocrite, you just sound like one." So, but I mean, I think that's part of who Doc is. Like, he tries to come off as not a shallow person, but just more of like an average man. But really, he's this complex character that, you know, what was it? He knows Chopin when he was playing it on the piano. Chopin. He knows Chopin. He knows Latin. He's a literate man.
He probably knows Beethoven and everyone else.
Yeah,
but he knows Chopin. Which
but I mean, by looking at him
yeah.
and like being in his presence, you wouldn't know that because like he's a drunk. He, you know, acts on all of his impulses. Delinquent. Yeah, like he's just very rough around the edges type of person. But then in reality, he's this very educated, like literate person. It's like
not kind of awesome. And also too, even beyond that, like he doesn't do like even like what most educated people know. Because when he said Chopin, it shows even more deeper in his education. Like he actually goes deeper than most. I even like adding to this character of Doc. I like that he plays. I said this quickly at the beginning. He kind of is almost like the narrator. He's not the main narrator because there is a main narrator at the beginning.
Yeah, we talked about that.
But during the movie, the story, he plays as like
he randomly will narrate.
Because he'll say stuff like
when what was the singer's name?
Josephine.
Mm-hmm. When Josephine walks away from. Not walk away.
When she first enters, when she first. Comes into play when they introduce her.
That one, yeah.
Wyatt is automatically fixed and gazed upon her, and his brothers kind of see her too, and they're like, she's a very beautiful woman, but to Wyatt, obviously, she's the angel. And what Doc will pop off, he's like, an enchanted moment.
Yeah.
And and at the end, when after Wyatt and her just
kind of had like a disagreement, but they had a moment that wasn't good.
That wasn't good, and she's not happy with him right now.
Yeah.
And then when she walks away and Wyatt's just staring at her, it just like, I lost her. Doc is in the background. Up. No, he doesn't walk him out. He stays in the background where he is in the background.
Oh, right.
And he's next to the wagon. And he says like, and then he says, and then she walked out of our lives forever.
Yeah, like he narrates these random little parts, like, but it's also like his character. And he's just being so witty.
And he knows what he's saying.
Yeah,
like, he fits it because it's like he. And he'll say things that are
just very smart ass.
Yeah, but
I like it.
And likes to play on words. Like another example, and he's drunk at this point. They're in the saloon having a fun time after a performance down at the theater. And he's drinking and he's having fun with Wyatt because he knows that he's already entranced by Josephine.
Mm-hmm.
He says to him, like, you just carry yourself like a taken man. He's like, yeah, of course, duh. Like, even if she walked in, who are you talking about? You know who damn well I'm talking about. Even if she walked in, I'd turn my head the other way. He's like, oh, like, why? Like, I'll remember when he said that. He's like, what? And she comes in and, like, back then when a lady came in, guys would ask her to dance and she'd go on from guy to guy dancing, right? And then she comes up to him, but he just turns away from her. And then Doc looks at him. He's like, I stand corrected, Wyatt.
You are an oak.
And just to hit how he's very witty with words and intelligent words, has not a huge vocabulary of, like, big words, just a range where he can mix them up and everything and have basically fun with his just speaking.
Yeah. I for sure say he's my favorite character.
I think that was one of the best characters ever I've seen. I mean, I know he's based off a real person, but for the movies, that was just a phenomenal character.
He was just my favorite.
I like how, too, when he's a smart ass, he's playing cards with a few of the cowboys. One of them is Ike Clanton. And he at this point, he's gone 36 hours, right? Was it 36 or 42 hours straight gambling and drinking in the saloon? Like,
I don't know. I just remember he had 12 straight hands.
He won 12 straight hands, and Ike's getting pissed. He's like, son of a bitch, no one's that lucky. And he's like, Ike, whatever do you mean? Like maybe poker's not your thing. Let's have a spelling contest.
Yeah.
Just so much of a smart. And then at another point, Wyatt is about to arrest the leader of the Cowboys, and he's surrounded by the members of the Cowboys saying, let him go, let him go. And Wyatt's by himself with just a six-shooter against all these guys with knives and guns. And then Doc comes in to back him up, and one guy looks at him, he's like, you're just a drunk piano player. You're probably so drunk you're seeing double. He pulls the knife like he's about to rush him. No. And then Doc pulls out his second gun and says, I've got 2 guns.
One for each of you.
Just show that he's funny, and also too a guy you do want to mess with. Like he never
that's why, like, he's also he's not so serious all the time. Like he
has fun with it.
Yeah, even in moments of, I mean, he clearly could have been in danger, but he was still kind of like a funny smartass about it.
Because like he himself will die laughing, which is actually what happens to his character. He dies laughing, chuckles to himself. Yeah. That's what's really entertaining. Like, to me, Doc did. I mean, Wyatt, was the main character and everything, but Doc did steal the show.
Like steal it, yeah.
Yeah, because you wanted to see more of him and more of the interactions.
Funny little one-liners.
Yeah, and what was interesting and was great too, to show the complexity of his character. One was the relationship he had with Wyatt, because Wyatt is his only friend.
Yeah.
It comes down to it. I mean,
when they're going at one of the last battles, and one of the guys
after the last battle, like the
battle at the creek.
Yeah, the walking on water part.
Yeah, one of the guys is like, pardon me, kind of thing, like, but what, Doc, what are you doing?
Because Doc's sick. Doc is a sick man.
Yeah, because Doc is super sick.
So he's coughing up.
What exactly does he? Wasn't it tuberculosis?
Yeah, basically, because he lost 60% after his crazy binge drinking of 36 plus hours bender. One of his benders, but this bender was like a days. 2-3 days, he knocks out. He lost 60% of his lung tissue. Yeah.
So after this battle, he's just coughing up his lungs, and the guy's like, pardon me, but like, what are you even doing here?
That was Creek Johnson.
Yeah. And Doc just so quickly replies without hesitation, well, Wyatt's my friend. And the guy, I don't know what the guy's name is. He came in.
Creek Johnson.
Oh, Creek Johnson. Sorry.
That was Turkey Creek.
Okay, so Creek Johnson replies,
Johnson.
Like, well, hell, like, I got a lot of friends, kind of implying, like, I wouldn't do this for just a friend, like, you're probably gonna die. And then, like, again, without missing a beat, Doc comes in and is just like, well, I don't. Like, he realizes that these friendships that he has with these brothers, but mostly with Wyatt, is special. Like,
because Verge even says he doesn't like him. Morg just thinks he's just fun, because Morg is younger than him, or he's still the young kid. I think it's that Doc will say he just respects the Wyatt's brothers. Like, he would do anything for his brother just because of Wyatt. Because it comes down, Wyatt is his only friend throughout his whole life, and that's why the relationship between them is strong. Because one, it's like the two friends that are polar opposite though.
Yeah,
Wyatt is the traditional, like,
law-abiding citizen, good guy,
romantic, while Doc is the pessimistic realist, has crazier stories,
goes on benders,
has seen the more of the world and done more than Wyatt, and probably doesn't think twice about people he's killed, like not unlike Wyatt, because Wyatt's talked about the one guy he killed during his time as a lawman. He still lives that, but Doc, he's probably killed close to, like, let's say 50 men. He doesn't give a damn.
Yeah, it's part of life.
And what's interesting is after the Battle of the OK Corral, after Verge gets wounded, Morgan gets wounded, everyone separates, and Wyatt's by himself, and he turns around. The only person waiting for him is Doc, and Doc, the way Doc's waiting for him is kind of like the friend who's like a little worried of like what's next, but like I'm still here, like whenever you're ready, like whenever you're ready, let's go, even though I'm still hurting.
Yeah.
Because
he's sick.
Because that same day, the doctor told me you lost 60% of your lung tissue. You just need a rest.
Yeah,
the doc comes out dripping in sweat. His shirt is so sweaty that it's down to his belly button, the ring of sweat.
Yeah.
He comes in and he's like, "Hey, we got to do something. Let's go kill these guys." But he's still there.
Oh, I love that part because that's when
Wyatt says to Doc, "Hey,
like you don't really have any part of this. Like this is not your fight
because it's just between the Earp
and then
brothers."
Again. Doc answers so quickly, just like...
That's a hell of a thing for you to say. And then he walks over to the brothers like...
Yeah, it's like, how dare you even question why I'm here? Like, he's so loyal to, like, a fault, almost. Like, it's just...
And that's what it shows, his loyalty, and you see, like, that's the most vulnerable... One of the very few vulnerable moments you see of this character was when he's waiting for Wyatt after the Battle of the OK Corral to, like, come to him, and they both walk away.
Yeah.
To show, like, I'm here.
Yeah.
Even if I was wounded, I'd still be here because I am wounded.
Yeah, he was sick basically. You could tell he's sick
from the get go.
From the get go, but you never know
until it's
how bad it is or like what
blood
exactly
comes out of his mouth.
Yeah. So he's been sick this whole time, but he's still choosing to stand by him. But even when he gets worse and it's like you need bed rest, he still shows up. And then at the very end, when
he dies,
when he's fighting Johnny Ringo.
Oh,
when you
duel?
think that Doc is gonna die, like he's coughing up so much blood that they had to stop at some rancher's house, and he was on bed rest, and he was gonna let Wyatt go off on his own
to battle Ringo, because Ringo now became the leader after Wyatt killed Curly Bill.
Yeah. So then
Creek.
What's his face? Doc comes in and fights Ringo for
Wyatt, because I think he knew that Wyatt couldn't defeat Ringo.
I don't think he just wasn't as fast.
Yeah, because there's one moment after the OK Corral, Ringo stumbles onto the street, drunker than hell, but like crazy drunk, and he's like screaming at the Earp brothers for their blood, their soul. Like, I want it now, I want it now, I want it now. He's like, let's play for blood, and they're like, we're not doing it, man. No. And they walk away, like, you're drunk, no. And he's like, you cowards. And then Doc comes up to him and he says, I'm Huckleberry. Like, I'll play for blood.
Yeah.
I'm in
he's like substituting himself in for the Earp brothers.
But he's the one, he knows still, not saying that they're not good fighters, the Earp brothers, but he's the only one who's got that edge that Johnny has, the insanity, the cruel craziness factor.
And to be okay going this far and just shooting
into the madness. Yeah.
Really, just to do it.
And that's why
he's such an amazing character.
That's why Doc does it too, because he's like, we started a game, we need to finish, but I'm here for my friend because he's not fast enough. You're right. I'm the one who can fight him.
And then at the very end,
when he dies,
right before he dies, and I think it was almost like he was holding off until Wyatt left to die, and you could see him kind of cry too. Like he was saying, "Go find that actress or that singer,"
Josephine.
Yeah, well, that's what he says.
No,
and just take life and just live
Go
it.
beyond the hill.
If you have any affection or if you've ever, had any feelings for me, just leave now. Like almost like I don't want you to see me like this. Just leave. Don't worry about me. Don't keep spending your time here. Go live your life because
for me, live your life for me.
Wyatt, live your life for me. Wyatt still has so much to live. And Doc knew that he was going. Mm-hmm. So I think that part was just so sweet.
Oh, yeah. But then it ends, like I said, funny because he dies laughing a little bit because he looks at his feet and he's bare feet. And there's a saying I've heard from people that, a real cowboy, they die with their boots on. Like, it's their boots. He doesn't have his boots on, so he's like,
we were talking about that because I didn't understand.
The irony. And, like, Doc, he likes humor, so he can respect the irony, even when he's dying. And he dies
because even then, Doc, I don't think he technically considers himself like a full-blown cowboy.
Like the ones they battled.
Well, yeah, but I don't think he's also that morally corrupt or that, like, I don't know what the word is, that...
messed up? No.
Well, I mean, the cowboys back then, they all just seemed so rambunctious, and Doc was rambunctious. You know, he would just
But he was
he would get in
above, a
brawls.
bar above him.
Yeah, like he wasn't so crazy. Like the way he acted, and like
he wasn't a degenerate.
Yeah, I guess is that what you could say? He was more.
He just acted like an intelligent degenerate. He wasn't a full blown just.
He was more just a drunk instead of like a ridiculous person running around killing people.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, he did stab that one guy.
But he had class.
Well,
like he knew how to act.
He was walking a fine line between a cowboy and like a regular normal human being. So I think it was kind of fun. He said maybe like 3 times. He had three times to think about the movie, about like hypocrisy, about my hypocrisy knows no bounds, or like my hypocrisy can only go so far. So I feel like I said earlier, he tries to come off as this person that isn't as deep or complex as he really is.
But why it sees.
Yeah, and like he's not as much of as a a cowboy or a rebel as he likes to think, type of thing. That I don't know. That's what I think.
There's one moment too where he actually told about his past to Wyatt, and that's probably to Wyatt the first time he ever heard something about Doc personally and intimately was his first love.
Oh yeah, that was awkward.
Yes, it's weird that it's his first,
it's his cousin.
Doc's first cousin. But back then things were different.
Yeah.
But to show that at one point in his life, Doc knew what love was.
Yeah.
And he was 16, so it was that young, cute puppy, but strong, intense love he had with his cousin.
Yeah, and that he was not so, I won't say hard or calloused.
Yeah, he was gooey.
Yeah, he wasn't so cynical, or like you said, a realist.
Mm-hmm. And a pessimistic realist. And what sucked for him, because it hurt him too, because he said that the affair drove his cousin to be a nun.
Yeah.
And so to him, he hated that. That's what happened, because to him it was the only beautiful thing he ever had in life. Yes, the girlfriend he has that we see him with, Kate, he does love her, but you can see she's not good for him. Because he even says to her, like, you may be the Antichrist.
What was the full line? You may be truthful or something.
But then again, you could be the Antichrist. Yeah, so this was his cousin, the only good thing he ever had.
Yeah. So
that's what probably caused him to be the man we see him as in the later years of his life. Funny as hell, though. Mm-hmm. Oh, my God. And then what's great about this is how it's really about, because Wyatt is the main character, and it's about him just wanting to live a normal life after being a peace officer, after paying his dues, doing his time. And to him, he deserves, even though he's trying to work for it, it's hard, he deserves happiness and normality, because he wants that. That's what he's always wanted. He's the guy who wants the white picket fence. Yep. And the woman he's with at the time, Maddie, his wife, it's unfortunately not a good relationship, because she has a substance problem, she's an alcoholic.
Even despite that, I don't think it just didn't seem like
he tries to ignore her problem. No, he tries to ignore. You can see him trying to ignore.
But from the very beginning, it just didn't really seem like it was working.
No, and he tries to ignore that because he's so gung ho.
He just wants normality.
About normality and having a happy white picket fence life, and to him, he deserves that.
Yeah. So his wife is just like off the rocker.
Yeah, and then that's why for Josephine, it works for him, because in a sense, they want the same thing, but she also brings...
Just different types of normal.
Yeah, but she brings out also, too, his adventurous side more. Because she's different. She even says,
when they have that little moment after riding the horse, it's like, oh, he's laughing again. It shows, like, he isn't always, like, this hard, serious cowboy. Yeah. He can have fun. He can laugh. He has happiness.
But even though she's not the type of woman he would stereotypically fall for, it's not his type. It's she is more of a modern day woman back then. Oh, yeah. Back in the Western days.
Yeah, her line was like, I don't have time to be proper.
Yeah, I like men. If that's bad,
that
who
makes
cares?
Me
then I'm not a
lady. Unladylike, then I'm not a lady.
But to him, she's like, no, you're a lady, all right, just different.
Yeah, you may talk different, but like, what do you say? I'd put my oath on it.
Yeah, because he's like, kind of like how you can see through Doc, he sees through her. He says like, no, you're a lady, you're just different. And then, because he's such the romantic side, he's like, I put my oath on it. Like, he put his life up against it, and that melts her like butter.
Of course it does.
But she is, like but she said, though, she's not a girl, because from the get-go, she's already, like, she wants him right when she comes off the
who's that handsome, tall gentleman?
Who's that handsome, tall dog of water? And he's like, yes, he has the look of predator and prey. I want one. Happy hunting.
Yeah.
And then after she finds out he
He's
even
a
is,
homewrecker.
she's a bit of she's a naughty girl, but she is the better one for him.
Yeah.
Even though she knew what she was doing.
Yeah. Little poop.
Little poop.
Throughout the whole movie, every time she came out, I was upset. I just didn't want... I mean, yeah, I don't like that. But I mean, whatever, they worked out. And
yeah. They left off room service.
But see, they never, which I wish they kind of would have done, they never really said where Verge and all of...
where they were going. She said Virgin and his.
Well, I know where they ended up at the end, but where were they going on the train? Like, I'm sure they weren't.
They were there. Oh, well, who knows?
Yeah, like I kind of wish they
probably
said like a little backstory
because Morgan dies.
Morgan
dies, and I think what Verge was going to do was get his brother's widow back to her family.
Oh yeah,
probably the same to Maddie.
Yeah,
he was doing the gentleman thing, like the obligation for his brothers. Like, I get both my brother's widow and ex back to the family, and then me and my wife will take care of ourselves. I think that's what Verge was doing.
Yeah.
I think that's what it led to believe.
I kind of wish that Verge hadn't left, though. I really would. I mean, I know that Doc still stayed along with...
Well, Verge lost his arm, though.
Why? Yeah, I know, but I mean...
He wasn't built for combat anymore. Like, mobile combat.
But... Towards the end, it said that he became sheriff in.
But it was at probably a small town where he's on his feet, and Verge.
I wish
all
he could have
Verge
stayed.
needs is his looks and his bark. He doesn't need to pull his gun really.
I wish he would have stayed.
But he probably didn't ride a horse.
Someone who does talk about someone who has their looks and their bark and not their gun. I love the scene where Wyatt goes into that bar where or not a bar, like kind of like a saloon, where the card dealer, the really rambunctious card dealer, the one that was like scared.
Card? Oh, the card.
The card dealer.
I thought you said car.
No, the card
Oh,
dealer.
played by Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah, Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah, that's the heaviest I've ever seen him. He's
he was quite
he's
a
so
chub
skinny now. He's so chubby, like
drugs.
Big teddy bear.
Anyways, but yeah, so like this younger card dealer, Billy Bob Thornton. I don't remember his actual name.
Johnny Tyler.
You know, he's young in the movie, and he's just kind of one of those young car dealers, just
a dick.
Thinks that their shit don't stink and that the world revolves around them. And Wyatt just goes up to him and basically says, like, "Oh, you're sitting in my seat," because Wyatt wants to take his job.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like,
"Oh, because he's still the peace officer. He's trying to help out a guy, trying to help out the bar.
And the guy's like, "Oh, really?" And so he stands up. Billy Bob Thornton or Johnny Tyler gets up, thinking that he's gonna go up against
a punk.
Well, no, thinking he's gonna go up against Wyatt. Just like he was gonna pull his gun.
Well, he sees Wyatt as a punk until.
Well, yeah, like he's gonna pull his gun, like you should be scared of me type of thing, and then Wyatt doesn't even pull his gun, but just he slaps him 3 times and even tells him like, "Are you gonna do something? Are you gonna pull that gun?" And like he doesn't.
Bleed there.
Yeah, you're just gonna stand there and bleed, and just totally makes him into like a little bitch.
And Wyatt doesn't even carry a gun anymore. At that point, at this point in the story, he's not carrying a gun. He doesn't carry it until shit hits the fan.
But he's basically just like daring him, like, do something. Go ahead, pull your gun on me. Do it. And like I said, he just slaps him across the face 3 times until he makes him.
That's a good slap to make a man bleed like that, where it's drooling kind of bleed.
I was thinking about that. Like, how hard do you have to be slapped to bleed like that?
Well, I guess. Do you want to find out?
No, I don't. I was just saying, like, I don't. Yeah, like you're saying, that has to be a really hard slap to like bust your lip.
He was close to like, the last 2 were hard.
Well, anyways, I just thought that was a really funny scene.
It was funny that the aftermath, because Johnny Tyler comes back with a double barrel shotgun.
Oh yeah, he wants to shoot Wyatt.
But Doc stops and he's like, "Well, Johnny Tyler, madcap, Doc, I didn't know you were back in town." And they look at him, and then they start talking.
Yeah, then Wyatt and the 3 brothers, or Doc and the 3 brothers start talking. They totally forget about
They totally forget about him. They're talking and laughing, and they realize he's there. And Doc's like, "Oh, Johnny,
I forgot that you were there.
You can go now."
Yeah, just totally dismissive. And Wyatt tells him to leave the gun there. And then when he's leaving, he's like, "Okay, thank you." Like,
and then he's about to hand it. He's like, "No, leave it, like on the ground." And like, "Thank you," and he walks away.
Yeah, like he says thank you to them. Like, really?
And then what's even fun? And then during that whole scene, they get in 2 other characters. Texas Jack and Turkey Creek come in because they killed 2 guys, but it was a self-defense movement, nothing like they're killers, just self-defense. And then what's funny, right before that, the mayor the sheriff, who is just basically a guy who just wants to make money. He's not in it. He's not a good guy at all. He's just fueled by greed and money. He's saying that Tombstone's not more than a mining town. It's growing. Everyone's dressing topical and everything. And this is a very classy, progressive town. And then after the shooting, Doc's like, very cosmopolitan. And then when he comes up, he's like, Sheriff, I like you met a pair of sophisticated fellows. He's just, because he's being a smartass. Because Doc knows what this place is. It's just a mining town.
Yeah, it's kind of a little shithole.
A nice-looking shithole.
A very nice-looking shithole.
And it's just, the more of the humor in the characters. One interesting, too, about another character, going back to Johnny Ringo, is that during a scene where they're at the theater, they see multiple performances, and it comes to the last performance, and it's basically the last performance is it's called the Devil's Proposition.
Oh, yeah, the Devil's Proposition. There you go.
And everyone knows basically the deal. Would you make a deal with the devil kind of thing? And our main characters kind of talk about it. Doc jokes to his girlfriend. He's like, "Is your soul for sale, dear?" Like laughing a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then one guy is saying like, "I do this to the devil," and then Curly Bill looks at Johnny, because Johnny is Curly Bill's second in command. Yeah. It's like, "What about you, Johnny? What did you do?" And Johnny's like, "I already did it."
Yeah, he's just a dark.
Johnny did. It's like hitting on going back to the whole Shakespearean feel, the stage feel. Like he did sell his soul. Like as an audience member, I'm led to believe, and I do believe it, that Johnny met the devil and sold his soul. Probably for being the fastest gun in the West.
He's just, clearly he's not, because...
Well, at the end, no, but at the time, why not? Because but Doc even says, they say he's the fastest gun in the West, as well as, like, Wild Bill. Since Wild Bill, he is the fastest... the deadliest pistolier since Wild Bill.
But I also think that's because Doc never really showcased his gun talents, to be honest.
No, but Johnny did make a deal with the devils, probably to be the deadliest gun wielder in the West, gunslinger.
He looks like a devil. He looks like a handsome devil.
Well, that he is a handsome
devil.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. He was the embodiment of the devil. He was.
And what was funny too is that when the performers of that little scene, of that little short play, show themselves, the devil's unmasked as Josephine, and Wyatt's like, "Oh, be damned," and Doc's like, "If you're lucky, you are if you're lucky." Like if you get lucky, and then he's right next, but Wyatt's right next to his wife. Yeah, and Maddie's not liking it at all.
Just like, oh God, Doc, just shut up for a second.
But that's the friend that'll just say it like it is and just call it now.
Just says it.
That's awesome. Yeah, and overall, it's a really great film if you haven't seen it, and that's why we're just talking about it here on our Throwback Thursday episode, because to me, this is a classic.
Yeah, I would definitely say Tombstone is a classic.
Because so far with every guest I have here with me on combo number 2, from Alex, Travis, and now Britt, and you'll also be meeting Alejandro later on down the series. But I've been asking everyone is that, do they feel like this movie is a classic? Can it stand the test of time?
Hell yeah.
This is the movie, because it's the way it was produced, the way it was filmed. The production of it all, it gave the one, like, this is a film,
and the good actors in it.
The good acting,
very
yes,
much so.
But it's a film set in the West. It is good versus evil, but then it has the feel of you're watching an actual play on stage, because it's just the way the angles and the way people are moving out. Like one scene, for example, where while Curly Bill is high on opium, he kills the marshal.
He just goes out and
kills
him.
Well, he doesn't go up and kill him. He's about to hand over his pistols, and he just pulls the trigger. The way
I thought he did it on purpose.
No, it was just like, here you go. I think it was this finger move. He's just so high.
He looked like he was on a bad trip.
And then, because he was howling like a wolf at the moon, shooting his pistol everywhere.
Yeah.
And the way the camera pulls away as Curly Bill kind of goes around the body and it's like. That's like what a play would look like. Someone's right here and they cross to stage left. And then, because you don't really see Wyatt's pistol butt hit Curly Bill on the head, it's like it's the way on stage. It's staged in a way so don't see the miss, but you hear the hit and you feel it. That's why I'm saying I like it. Because to me, every time I watch it, it's like I could see this being put on as a play. Even, yes, there are scenes with a lot of horseback riding and shooting on horses, and there are multiple locations as the story goes on.
Like the creek, that'd be hard to do as a play.
And then with the creek, yes, it's hard to do, but with the creek, excuse me, sorry, there's another part of it because there's this surreal moment for their time where during all the gunfire and chaos, Wyatt gets up saying, no, but he comes up and no one shoots him. They shoot at him. They shoot at him, but no one lands a hit. And even with Curly Bill coming up to him with a double barrel and he misses twice at point blank range, Wyatt still kills him through all the chaos. And he's like what Doc said, he was walking on water.
It was a godlike moment.
Yeah, and that's why to me this is like a play. Those moments where it's like, whoa. For an audience member, it's like it's where that one film feels like a play. It's that authentic and real. Not authentic, it's just that well done.
Like I said, for your average moviegoer that doesn't know about all these directing, I don't know, secrets and
it's not secrets. It's just the
like
way the cinematography.
Okay, actor crosses stage left, or if you don't know all that, I just think it's a really good classic movie. I think it'll continue being a classic movie. I grew up watching this. I think this was the first rated R movie I ever saw.
I saw The Matrix. That was my first.
That's rated R?
Yes.
Oh.
You serious?
I've never watched all The Matrix all the way through.
Look at the graphic content of it all.
I just said I've never watched all of it.
But you've seen the first one, haven't you?
I've never watched all of them all the way through.
But you've seen it.
I don't even think I've finished half of them.
Oh God, you don't
I
just
just can't get into them.
That was my first rated R movie. Good for you. This was your first rated R movie.
Right. This was. My parents did it right. This was the first rated R movie I did. So.
We picked well. We didn't do Anaconda or other stuff. We did this.
Yeah, it's just a really good movie, and like I said, the actors in it are really good. You have Kurt Russell, Val Kilmer, Sam Elliott.
It was a really done love story.
Billy Bob Thornton.
And the
who was the guy that you said was from My Big Fat Greek Wedding? Was it him or was it the other guy that I said?
He was in there, but he was a different guy. There was apparently, you said, a guy from Sex and the City.
Wait. Okay, so now
Now we have to figure this out.
Just let me take a quick
as she does,
Google search.
What's nice too about this is that the scenes also too where there's sad moments like when Morgan gets killed. Ugh. That was such a great scene because that was the old, not the oldest brother, but the older brother with his younger brother. And the thing about it, because a lot of this stuff carries weight, and you have to pay attention to the dialogue. Because at one time at night, as the three brothers and their wives are out and about, Morgan talks about he's a little drunk, but he's like, "Hey, do you believe in God, and stuff?" And Wyatt's like, "I don't know." Hell, he's like, "Well, I've read this book on spiritualism, and I heard when you die, you see a light. Right before you die, you see a light." And that carries because when Morgan dies,
continue.
When Morgan dies, he looks at Wyatt. He's like, "Hey, remember when I was talking about when you die? If you see something, I see nothing, man. I can't see anything."
That part was just sad.
And he's like, but the way it carried was great. He came back, that piece of dialogue, and Morgan was so ready to see the light. If he died, he was happy like a kid because he's the kid in the group. But when he saw it, that. Even though in his death, which was sad.
That was literally his last words.
But yes, that was his last words. But that was his maturing moment. Morgan's dying that death, Morgan matured, in a sense, because the way he said it's like he grew up a little bit. He's not a kid anymore. He's like, I don't see anything. And that's right.
I thought it was just kind of his weird dying ramblings.
No, not rambling, because he was so fixated on that and ready to see.
Yeah, but I mean,
I'm not saying I don't think it was as like rambling where he's like a little like out of it and just saying stuff.
I thought it was.
Where
his
brain's just firing off stuff and it's just so going crazy in his head. It's to him the way it was done. You could see it's like he had a grown up moment. Not saying that his character saying God doesn't exist. It's just in himself. He had a growing moment of like growing out of child hopefulness.
I mean,
that's what I mean, because he kind of grew up a little bit in his last seconds of life, where he's like, I
don't see it that way.
I saw that. I think, and that's what's sad. Like a character grew out of his own death. The only way this character could grow was by dying. That's what's sad.
I just saw it as his like, just he's dying. He's lost a lot of blood, and it was just kind of like his weird, not, I don't want to say weird, kind of like dad rambling, you know, like you dying rambling where they're not really sure what they're saying, but they're just, I don't really know how to explain it. But anyways, one of the characters in Tombstone, when I looked at him, I was like, oh, he's the guy from Sex and the City. I forgot what his name in.
Oh yeah, he's
John
the same
Corbett,
guy?
the actor who played Barnes in Tombstone, was also in Sex and the City and My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Yeah, I said him.
I know. You kept thinking that they were two different guys. There's the same guy.
There's
in
a lot
both.
of young looking good.
Anyways, he is in, if any of you guys watch Sex and the City, he is Aiden from Sex and the City, and he is the main
love
character
interest.
in
not the
My
main
Big Fat
character,
Greek Wedding.
main love interest. It's the main character. Main character is
Okay,
Tula.
shut up. Anyways, I just wanted to, I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, it is cool. Yeah, see all these actors.
Yeah.
All over the place.
I don't think there's any female actors in there that are still.
Not that are.
That are more well known, I guess.
Or just no. I think they just did other stuff. Like
I think it was just mostly the guys in the thing that.
Well, it was a male.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the West.
Except for Josephine. Oh, and the guy, Josephine's partner.
Oh, the guy who had played the antagonist in Titanic.
Yeah. Oh, I hated him. Caleb.
Caleb.
I hated Caleb.
I forgot his name. I just remembered his name too. It's
I don't know his actor name.
I know this name because people are like, it's like, is it Zane something? No, it's not Zane. Billy Zane. Yeah, it is Billy Zane.
That's Billy Zane?
It's Billy Zane. Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. I liked him in Zoolander. Just his
little
itty-bitty part.
He was in Zoolander.
See, I don't think he looks good with hair. He looks better bald.
Michael Rooker is cool in that. As McMaster's the one cowboy who
oh yeah, I like McMaster.
Who just broke from him.
Yeah.
But he got off badly. He just got dragged in the dirt.
Yeah, that was pretty shitty.
That must have hurt. And then Thomas Hayden Church and Stephen Lang played Ike and Billy Clanton.
Okay, so let's just talk about Ike and this little sissy piece of crap. Ike, even though towards the end they tell you that Ike died in a robbery and whatnot, I think it would have been better and would have been more like justice if Wyatt or Doc had killed Ike, because there's so many times when Wyatt could have killed Ike, and he's just like, oh no, don't kill me. He's all snivelly and gross.
Well, because that shows Wyatt's character. He wants to fight a guy who's actually fighting.
Yeah, but he should have died. Ike caused so much. Ike should have died.
His brother died though instead.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. That's why he should have. There should have been justice.
I like that one
he should
where
have shot Ike.
The gun, the pistol point in his head. He's like, "You die first, get it? Your friends might get me a rush, but not before I turn your head into a canoe. You understand me?"
I love that part. He's like, he's bluffing. No, he's not. See, he's just
Billy, stand back, Billy.
He's just such a snivelly little. Oh, he should have died.
That's sometimes some of those characters though don't die. It's in real life. Those people get to live probably all the way.
Well, no, he died later in a robbery.
No, but it took so long.
Well, yeah,
there's so many moments of like death. It comes to a point where Ike takes off his sash just to save his life.
Such a brat. I would have shot him.
But that shows Wyatt's character.
That shows my character. Don't mess with me or my family, or I'll shoot you.
I'll shoot you in the face.
I'll turn your head into a canoe.
And then I'll use it to get across the river. I'll do it.
Exactly. But yeah, and then it was kind of sad at the end when they were talking about some of the characters, like, giving them a little, like, where are they now type of thing. And Wyatt's, I guess, ex-wife, they said that she died in a drug overdose. That was kind of...
It's sad, but you saw where that was leading for her character.
Yeah.
But it does say that Ike was killed in that thing.
Oh, and then we were talking about this. The Lortimer, what, if any of you guys know and want to comment about this, what exactly is Lortimer? Because we were thinking that it was just kind of like a...
What are you talking about?
Remember, his wife was just like, oh, there's not one single shop that has Lortimer.
Oh, it was like headache painkiller.
But I know, but one of the other wife that gave it to him was like, oh, be careful, it's made full of hops, which is in beer. It's not made full of hops, it's full of hops. It's full of hops, which is in beer. So, I'm wondering what exactly is in Lortimer. If any of you guys know and would like to comment on it, because I have no clue, because I thought maybe she was just like kind of like an alcoholic, but then it says she died of a drug overdose. So I was wondering if there's something else in that medicine.
Well, maybe that would be considered more of a drug than alcohol. So she wouldn't have died from alcohol poisoning. She still died from drug overdose because it's still an over-the-counter medication.
Oh. Well, I mean,
why.
if any of you know exactly
in a
what it
technical
is and
way.
want to let us know, because that was kind of...
Yes,
I just kept trying
let Brittany know.
Shut up. I just wanted to know. Whatever.
You want to know something?
I got headaches. I'll just have some Lortimer.
I got headaches. I got headaches.
Oh, headaches.
I got headaches.
I don't know why I'm talking in this accent.
Headaches. I got the headaches. The aching of the noggin.
But yeah, I thought it's just.
I like how Wyatt was eating dinner with chopsticks that one scene.
Yeah, let's talk about some weird moments in the movie. One, when they were eating chopsticks, I was like, they use chopsticks?
Well, I mean, there are Chinese building the railroads at that time.
Yeah, but I mean, even then, they were considered such low-class people.
Well, shows why it's different. He's just a man. He's just, he ain't
well,
racist.
Okay, whatever. I just thought it was interesting.
It was an odd moment in the scene.
And then
and how he was able to twirl and master him like he was.
Yeah. And then if you see the scene where after Morgan dies, and Wyatt runs out into the rain.
Oh, the rain. Well, because they're on set.
I never realized this until like a few years ago, probably like 5-something years ago when I watched Tombstone again.
It's more than a few years.
The rain. Shut up. Don't come back to me. The rain is only on top of Wyatt. Like the rain is only probably in a 5-foot radius around Wyatt.
No, it's like 10 because it's pretty. Like,
maybe 7.
8.
Like whatever.
8.3.
It's in a small. It's in a small radius around Wyatt. Like, if you look past the rain and other parts of... Because he's out in the street, and the streets are all mud.
You're mud. Just kidding, you're not.
Do you see what I have to deal with? You can see that there's no rain out there at all.
You can see that the farther part of the desert street is
no
dry.
Running, there's no rain on it or anything. And then it's also weird because the rain falls in, like, this weird pattern, making me think that it was, like, a sprinkler or something.
Well, it's obviously not... the rain.
Well, I mean, it's old, so I mean, they didn't have like special effects and everything. But
it's not old. It's not that old.
It's
old, but
it's
not
old
like...
in the terms of technology. They didn't have the types of. They had to make do with what they had. They had to get creative. And they don't have the rain machines now that we have in movies.
They used a hose, probably like a big hose.
Okay, well, anyways, but if it just the rain falls in a really weird pattern, like you can tell it's a pattern because it's kind of like a wave, like as it hits the ground. Just watch that scene and you'll know what I'm talking about the rain not hitting.
There's only one time in the whole movie it rains. So
that's what I said. Watch that scene.
I'm saying they know. They wouldn't. They're gonna know.
Shut up. I'm just trying to point it out.
And I'm just talking to you. And I point.
What other weird scenes are there? Oh, that was funny when
That was what?
I think it was like their first. One of the first, because, back, it was the Wild West, and, you'd have, like, rebellious, just kind of crazy cowboys coming in and wrecking havoc, and then leaving the town in kind of like shambles, and it was...
Like Vikings.
Sure. These cowboys came in, and they were fighting or something, I don't know what the word, there's a word I'm looking for, I can't think of it. The cowboys were fighting.
Like showdown? Gunfight?
Yeah, like a gunfight. And it shows, shows, like, the typical... all the people in the town, like, kind of watching a little bit and then running into their houses. Like, they watch the two cowboys whatever that are fighting come in, and then, they run into their houses or their shops, and they're peeking out the windows to see what's going on. And as it shows the people lined up on, like, I guess, like, little porches. And it was you.
Because for the time period.
No. I want to explain this one. It shows all the people lined up on the porches.
You agreed with me.
And then Tom... it's showing all the people, they're all dressed rather nicely, I guess. Like, they're all in those, the ladies are all in those nice long dresses, and, like, all the guys
I said was, like, hey, the one black guy in town.
The one black guy, and...
You pointed out the clothing.
He was dressed in a very nice suit.
I just said the one black guy in town.
And I was just thinking, I think he was probably the only black guy in the whole movie.
Yeah. Literally, he was, and it was.
And I was thinking,
odd placement for the time.
Yeah, I'm like, is that even historically accurate? Because there was still.
Well, this is after the Civil War, obviously, and there were.
But there
men
was
of
still...
color who were but I'm saying back this is after the Civil War. We had men like Frederick Douglass and other men of color, but who were still in high standing in society. What was odd, it was just he was the only black guy in the whole damn movie. Yeah, and it's like. If you're gonna, like, why didn't you do more black people than if you're gonna put a black guy in there? Like, it's kind of weird, like, the one dude. It's like Lando Calrissian in Star Wars, the one black guy in the universe.
Yeah, we both kind of thought that was a little Random.
Just odd. Just
we
odd.
weren't sure
Because
if it
seeing
was
this
historically accurate.
Well, to agree, it's just seeing this movie so many times. It's just that one. There's things that will always pop out. I mean, no movie's perfect, but there's things that always pop out. It's just like, make you go, or what, or no, not at all.
Yeah, I mean, it was just something that we kind of laughed about.
Yes,
but that was it.
What other part did I like about them? I'm trying to remember. There's a lot of good parts in this movie. I liked the scene quickly with Virgil walking down the street after he's starting to think of joining, and he saves a kid from getting run over by horses. And when he gives him back to his mom, he looks at her and she looks at him, and she's got a scar going down inside of her face.
Yeah, to show that she's, how like rough the town's been.
And she's been showing like what she's gone through. Like obviously you're led to think she's been beaten up, raped, the worst, whatever. And then she doesn't look. She looks away from him and trying to keep her pride. It's like it shakes him a little to his core. Just a little wakes him up. Yeah. It was kind of cool. It was cool. I like in this movie though there is a lot of foreshadowing from the get go. So you really want to listen to the dialogue because it does come up throughout the rest of the movie, certain things. It's a lot of foreshadowing, like when Johnny Ringo talks about the pale horse carrying death and hell. Because then when Wyatt's pushed over the edge after Morgan's death, he says to Ike,
not so much a pale horse, but just a pale Wyatt.
Well, he's white, yeah. the white, because I was thinking about that, because Wyatt never rides a pale horse. He rides a black horse all the time. Yep. And so to me, I'm thinking the horse is Wyatt. And Wyatt himself is bringing death and hell with him.
Death and hell to
Wyatt is the white horse.
And all outlaws.
Yeah, and his gun is death, and his friends, as Doc says, Wyatt Earp and his immortals are hell. But that's what's cool. But when Johnny says, to Curly Bill, what the priest said, that the pale horse carrying death and hell is going to come after you and us. When Morgan talks about when you die, you see a light. When even Doc says in his moments of if she comes in, will you stand will you be an oak? No, there's a lot of foreshadowing of this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen, that you can see. Or when
and even their whole little Latin exchange when he was saying it's your funeral.
Yeah, and then even Curly Bill says to the group of men, because Johnny's on this drunken rampage, he's like, "Good God, I don't know what's going to happen to this gang when Johnny takes over. God help us," like that kind of thing. It's that's for sure.
And then he dies, and Johnny takes over.
And it's crazy because Johnny's just like burn them all.
Yeah, Johnny just doesn't care about him. He just wants death. Yeah, and
that's what I'm saying. Once again, hitting on why I think this is like a play, but in a movie setting, is because of all this foreshadowing in literature, literary themes, Shakespearean feel. Band of brothers, the bond between blood brothers and your friends who are brothers, the fights, the setting, like the OK Corral setup was great. And it was funny, but there was actually a funny moment at the OK Corral, is that Doc started the fight because he winked at Billy Clanton.
Oh yeah, and then why?
Because they're all at a standoff, and they're like, and Virgil's like, "I don't want this. I just came here for your guns. I'm gonna arrest you with guns." And they're looking at each other, and Doc and Billy make eye contact, and Doc just winks at him, and Billy just looks at him like, "You son of a bitch."
Yeah, that's when Wyatt knows. He's like, "Oh hell."
Oh no, he says, "Oh my God!" Like Wyatt just knows that just hell broke, and that's what was cool, because that was one of. Why, if you rewatch the movie so many times, that's one of Wyatt's sayings, "Oh hell," or "Oh my God," or no, "Jesus Christ, no."
It's a good movie. I really recommend it.
Yeah, it's great. It's really good. If first of all, if you like westerns, this is the one you need to have on your belt.
I'd say even if you don't like westerns.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just going.
Well, no,
I was going down.
It's not.
How about you let me finish? Because I let you finish.
You've been having all these little monologues on here.
You had a lot of monologues.
I didn't. I had short little quips.
Now I'm like an ass now. You had a lot in the last one.
I didn't. Well, I
let you go. I let you say a lot.
But it was about female empowerment, and you're not a female, so you really have no to say.
Fine, then go on a monologue. I'll sit right here.
I forgot what I was going to say. So
no, you don't.
The moment's gone.
No, you're just making me to be an ass right now. You're a little ass of a cousin.
Well, I mean,
just because you're my big cousin, don't mean you can do that.
It does.
Actually, it does a little.
It does a lot.
It does a lot, actually. It does a lot. But yeah, it's just.
Oh, that's what I was saying. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, go. No. I want you to finish.
No, after you.
Tag, you're it. No Typex.
What I was saying is, like, even if you don't like Western movies, I don't feel like this movie. I mean, yeah, it's a Western setting, but I don't feel like it's like overly Western in your face.
Oh, it's like,
I mean, it's still yeah, but I think like the fight scenes are really, really interesting and really cool, and just
definitely captures the moment like it was back then.
I can't think of any other Western movies where I'm just like, that's so Western.
I think Unforgiven's is so Western. Most of John Wayne's movies are so Western.
I don't see. I don't really like Westerns. I don't watch a lot of them, but
I don't care for them. This is the one.
Tombstone.
Yeah, and you're right though. You're right. It's not. It is a Western, but it doesn't like it doesn't have that feel.
It's just so cool. Like it's just like a good versus evil, like a type of thing.
But with a different like twist inside to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like it. I recommend it.
I do recommend it for everyone.
You guys should let us know what you think about the movie in the comments, and then if you liked it or
and
if you hated it.
And tell us about what was it, the alcoholic beverage, the medicine?
Oh, Lordimer?
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
Lordimer.
No, it was Lordimer, and then if you guys saw our previous one, or
oh gosh, yes, about the sister.
I don't know when you're putting that one up, but if you saw,
you know what I'm putting.
If
Thursday on Thursday because it's called Throwback Thursday.
If you guys have seen or listened to our podcast about Joy, the movie Joy, and you listened to the whole thing, we had a whole debate about whether the sister was evil, which I say she is, or Tom says she's not evil. She's just
jealous and envious.
Angry, and bitter, and an awful
envious
person.
And unhappy. Not awful person. I said unhappy. I don't twist my words. I said jealous, envious, and unhappy.
So Tom
you even put envious to evil.
Okay, so I think she's evil, and I think that Johnny Ringo is clearly evil. So I kind of put them in the same category. One's more evil than the other, but I still put them in the same category, and Tom clearly doesn't.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you saw that, you want to leave that in the comments, too.
But definitely the Lordimer.
And let me know that, right?
We want to know about the Lordimer.
Yeah, if any of you guys want to, like, research that and let us know, that'd be great. Oh, text.
Very unprofessional, having your phone go off during this. Well, that wraps us up here for our Throwback Thursday. I want to thank you all again for listening to this podcast. Really, we just like movies, and this is why we're doing this.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys have any suggestions or throwbacks that you want us to do, you're like, I really love Spaceballs or
Gone with the Wind, 2001: A Space Odyssey, Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, but what was the time parameter that we had for throwbacks?
From 1920 all the way to 2010.
Yeah, so that's the time parameter for our throwbacks. So if you guys have any suggestions, or not even just for throwbacks, just like movies that you really want us to review.
And you know what? Oh yeah, just talk about you would just want to hear us talk about.
Yeah, let us know.
Let us know because that's why we're here.
That'd be cool to get some input from you guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, leave a comment at the bottom and definitely tell us what you want to hear from us. I'm Tom Flores.
I'm Brittany.
Thanks again. Catch you on the next time. Bye.
Oh, bye.